Hello, welcome to the Citrus Garden. If you're new here, my name is Christina. If you're not new here, hi, welcome back. It's great to see you. This is a reading for Gemini, Sun, Moon, or Rising. Or if you have any other significant Gemini placements, there may be a message in here for you. So Gemini, I'm getting a very interesting download coming in for you. It's coming through with like a catch-22. Which is feeling kind of like a very difficult situation, or it's actually kind of feeling like a cycle, like a pattern maybe that you're trying to break through. And it's kind of feeling like the definition of the catch-22 is that in order to accomplish one thing, you need to first do something else. But in order to do the something else, you have to first accomplish the other thing. So it's kind of like you can't win either way, or that there's like a really difficult situation where it's like it's a paradox maybe, or it's kind of like I feel like there's this energy of feeling stuck in a particular place, or like you don't know how to break out of a particular cycle, because in order to break out, you need the key, but the key is on the outside of whatever it is that you're trying to break out of. So you can't break out because you don't have the key, and the key is on the outside. And it's just this sort of like cycle that just keeps repeating. That's how it's coming through for you today, Gemini, which is a bit of a tough energy. So we're going to pull cards. I feel like there's, I don't know what the reading's gonna talk about. We'll see. We'll pull out the cards and see. I feel like this is also a very familiar kind of pattern or cycle for you. It's not the first time that you've been here, is how it's coming through. It's not the first time you've been here, but hopefully it's the last. But we'll see what wants to come out. Okay, it's not this deck. I'm gonna switch to the elementals. Okay, yeah. Power, volcano. I feel very strongly for you, Gemini, that it's like, you are going to break out of this cycle soon, whatever it is. It's like this power energy, which is coming through with like an awakening. This I associate with sort of like, I just heard outburst there, but I don't think it's like in a bad way. But I do feel like if whatever stuckness you are experiencing, it's going to go through some sort of change soon. Through your own power. I feel like something is materializing in the physical in some way. I also feel like there's something where it's like maybe the situation or like something, however something is unfolding, may not feel ideal, or it may not be like exactly how you imagined it turning out or something like that, but it's kind of just like, just trust the process. I feel like there's something here where it's like, trust the process. It will work out. It may not be perfect. It may not be perfect, but it's functional is how it's coming through. I don't know what this is talking about. Okay, interesting. Fire, ignition. Look at all this fire. You have 8 and 9 coming through. So it's like there's a lot of change coming through for you in the form of fire. So it could be something very passionate. It could be something very exciting or inspirational or creative. I feel like you're going to be working with something. Like, okay, what I'm getting here is kind of like something like, let's say you're using like an appliance or something, right? Like something that requires electricity. and like you've been trying to turn on this appliance, but it hasn't been plugged in, so of course it's not going to work. It's that kind of energy. There's something like that where maybe it's like in the past, maybe you've tried to start something or you've tried to break out of a cycle, but it's like it wasn't plugged in, right? Like it's like it needs power, it needs electricity, it needs fire, it needs the key, ignition. So I feel like there's something like that happening for you, Gemini, where it's like finally you plug in whatever it is you're trying to start and it works. I feel like there's something very like both of those cards to come out together. I'm gonna pull one more. It's interesting. I was getting sort of like this Mars energy for you, but Mars right now just moved into Cancer as I'm filming this, which is interesting because that's sort of a watery energy. But I feel like there's something about the Mars and Cancer transit, which is gonna last till like near the end of February. That's going to align something for you. Like it's almost like plugging in the appliance or whatever it is. Plugging something in, giving it power. Okay, yeah, growth. Okay. And then you have cleansing storms at the bottom of the deck. Yeah. Something that you've been waiting for it to grow, or because it's like all these lights are now plugged in, right? It's like plugging in the lights or whatever it is that you've been trying to break out of. I feel like it's starting to work. Sorry, I feel like I'm knitting with this special kind of yarn and it sheds, and now I feel like there's like little pieces of yarn all over me. Okay. Gemini. Okay, plugging in the lights is how it's coming through. I feel like this is something that you've been working really hard at. Or it could also be coming through with something where it's like, maybe this is something that you have been working towards for a very long time, but maybe you were just sort of like practicing or building up to it. Like there were a lot of test runs is how it's coming through, but now it's like this is sort of like there was a lot of rehearsal maybe. It's like this is coming through as being like the grand opening of something, right? Like turning on the lights, plugging something in, beginning something. It's like it's feeling kind of like this grand opening kind of energy. A long-awaited one, perhaps. Okay. The mountain. Very interesting. Because you have the volcano. The mountain card to me talks about sort of like something that's very challenging, right? Like something that takes a lot of endurance to overcome. It also talks about like going within. It's not always about sort of climbing to the peak. It's also about like the experience of what's on the inside. Like it's more about it's very cliche, Gemini, but it's like what you learn along the journey rather than the actual destination itself. That's what this mountain card represents to me. So there may be something here about a long journey that you have been on. And I feel like you have learned a significant lesson in terms of a particular challenge. Like this feels like it's been a challenge for perhaps a while, but it's coming through that energy of like, this is not the first time you've tried to tackle this challenge. And I feel like this time it's going to work. Like this time, whatever it is, you have the right energy, like you're plugged in, that kind of thing, in order to create this like change or momentum or growth that you've been needing, perhaps. With the mountain, though, I feel like there's this, like, having conquered something. Maybe it's conquering some sort of fear, or could be like a lack mentality or like self-limiting beliefs as well. I'm really drawn to this the figure and the cave inside the mountain, because it's looking to me like okay, I just got this image. It's looking to me, especially with these two cards, of like Hephaestus. He's the Greek god of, I think it's not Mars. Anyways, he's a blacksmith, right? He has like this forge, right? There's something about like that it's not Mars energy, but it's similar to that. Maybe Saturn. No, it's not Saturn. Anyways, doesn't matter. Getting sidetracked. I feel like there's something here. Anyways, I got an image of in Lord of the Rings where in the third movie, I can't remember, where they reforge the sword of Isildur, who is like the heir of Gondor. Doesn't matter. They reforge this symbolic sword and give it to Aragorn as sort of like this is his birthright kind of energy. Like there's something like that for you, Gemini, where I feel like there's something where it's like if you're not familiar with Lord of the Rings, Aragorn is like the heir of the throne of man. So he's a king, right? The third book is called Return of the King. But in the past, he denied this aspect of himself. He refused the call to become king. He didn't want that birthright. But like in the third movie, they reforge the sword and he accepts it. So there's something like that for you, where I feel like, Gemini, there's a situation for you, a cycle, a pattern, where it's like maybe you have rejected this particular call, or if you've denied some aspect of like your birthright or something that's like destined for you or something like that, for whatever reason, right? Doesn't matter what those reasons are. Maybe you weren't ready for it. Maybe it wasn't ready for you. Maybe it wasn't the right time. All of those things have to do with like divine timing, in my opinion. So what I'm seeing here, though, is that there's another call is how it's coming through, Gemini. And like this is the opportunity to claim your birthright or whatever. I know that word has like whatever. Maybe that's not the right way of phrasing it, but it's like it's to claim this beginning or this maybe it's some sort of rule, or like I don't know. 'Cause it's like a role or title. It's kind of coming through with a bit of Taurus energy, like something that's like very stable. I feel like perhaps it would also have to do with some sort of resources or second house energy, resources, stability, that kind of thing. I feel like it would have an impact on that, or it has some sort of, especially with the mountain coming out, like long-term kind of consequences. Awakening of the root chakra is what I just heard. So root chakra, it feels like it's very much activated at the moment, which is coming through with this sort of like stability, belonging, home, comfort, all of that. It's gonna touch upon those aspects. Okay, maybe no more archetype cards. Okay. We're gonna switch to the fairies. The mountain. I'm also kind of getting this image or this idea of like this figure that's in the mountain is looking to me almost like a future version of self, Gemini. You may be inspired, you may be feeling like inspired by perhaps a particular person, right? Like being driven by a vision or being inspired by some sort of person or like what it is that they've created or that kind of thing. And I feel like that is a future version of what is your potential, is how it's coming through. Maybe there's like, if it's not like necessarily a mentor, it could just be like somebody that you're inspired by or like something that you want to create yourself, but right now it kind of feels like you're at the beginning stage of it, but that there is growth, there's movement. You're working towards that. I actually feel like this new beginning is being birthed from some sort of ending for you. Like, of course, I don't know any situation that doesn't have that being true, but it feels very significant for you that there's some sort of ending. Okay, Master Maker. Yeah. Okay, interesting. Number 22. The Master Maker talks about your craft, right? Your skills. That the Master Maker is always trying to improve upon his skills. I feel like it's feeling like very much like creation, something that you're creating or something that you're working on. It could be very much work related with that resource energy. I'm going to read the description of this one. Master of the Forge. Again, that energy of the Forge. So iron is coming through very strongly, like Mars energy. But because Mars is in Cancer at the moment, and it's retrograde, I feel like maybe there's a focus on home. Maybe you're focusing on like building a home or like metaphorically like what home means to you or comfort or stability. All of that energy is in here, like Cancer and Taurus energy is really highlighted. Okay, one second. So Master of the Forge, upon which we create our futures and forge our own souls. Okay, bringing ideas into excellently crafted reality can only be done when we are willing to plan meticulously, begin carefully, and persevere through difficulties, learning still more of our craft as we work. Craftsmanship is also a labor of love. We must be willing to tackle difficult challenges and have a determination to surpass previous achievements. Patience is always required, as is the willingness to do a thing again and again, until it is even better than the best one can do. The Master Maker has a moral strength to refuse the temptation to do anything less, and he is a protector and teacher of the traditional values of his craft. Yet in balance to all this, the Master reminds us that we also need to learn our own limits. Not everyone can do everything superbly. When we discover our talents and choose our craft, then we gain great joy and fulfillment from developing that skill into an art. We grow more like the Master Maker each time we do the best we can and then stretch ourselves to do a little bit better than that. Yeah. Okay. The Master Maker reminds us that our very best work is always desirable, and in the present situation, it is necessary for success. In fact, he asks us to surpass our previous best. Don't cut corners and don't take the easy way. Whether making a thing or fulfilling a concept, be sure the design is elegant, pure, and functional, and then follow it, attending to every detail in its turn. Long-lasting achievement, creative problem-solving, and confident action. It may suggest cooperation with others, especially from a position of responsibility, or of teaching one's craft to others. Success comes from practical application of traditional principles in life and in work. Okay. Yeah. Okay, Gemini, there's a lot here. With the Mountain and the Master Maker, this feels kind of like a long-term kind of like new beginning. It feels like there's a lot of growth. I feel like there's this like very significant energy of like you're creating something and it's going to be for a very long time. It feels like reminder here though that there is this energy of like not everybody can do everything excellently or superbly. So there may be sort of things where it's like you're collaborating with others, always trying to improve upon where you are at, but also not being too hard on yourself. At the same time, it's coming through as being like, this is a work in progress. It's a work in progress, and whatever it is that you're working on at the moment, try and do it the best that you can, because that is always desirable. That's what's coming through. So there's this energy here of like, I love this card so much because it's very much a card about achievement and success and like working on things and building things. That's the energy that you are in right now, Gemini. And you have a Guardian at the Gate at the bottom of the deck, which talks about this sort of like leveling up, like going to the next level, but also like stepping into a new life. I feel like there is a lot of that energy here for you. There might be a bit of a learning curve is how it's coming through. A bit of a learning curve, but you have a lot of energy to be able to tackle that beginning, because with all of this fire, like the Power and the Ignition card, because whenever you're learning something new, it does take a lot of energy. So I feel like you have that though. You have a lot of energy at the moment in order to be able to tackle this new beginning. Okay. I felt like using the Artist Decoded Tarot, which I haven't used in a while. But that's where this sort of artistry is coming through for you, Gemini. I feel like maybe there's also going to be an opportunity to teach others. Because I feel like there's this, like, this energy here. It's like the Master Maker is the one in the Forge, right? I feel like there was a reading I did a while ago that had something to do with a forge in it. I can't remember what it was called exactly, or if it might have been a collective. I can't remember. I'll link it above if I can find it. But anyways, I'm going to pull tarot. Strength, yeah. Yeah, strength is coming out underneath the Mountain. Okay. There's a Leo energy, and Mars just moved out of Leo. Interesting. It's gonna require a bit of strength with the Mountain. I feel like it is also something here where this is a strength of yours. Two of Swords. This is a really interesting Two of Swords because the swords aren't crossed as it is in other tarot decks. I'm actually kind of seeing this as being, okay. I'm getting so much metaphorical imagery here, or just like concepts or like whatever. I'm seeing that scene in Mulan where she's trying to prove to the army, like when they're doing their training and stuff, that she can accomplish really challenging things, like even though she's been struggling in the training and all that. That scene in Mulan where she uses the two weights in order to climb the post and then grab the arrow that's at the top of the post, And she's the first one to accomplish this out of anyone else. Everyone else struggled with it. And it's kind of coming through as being like this like balancing energy where you need, I can't remember what the two weights symbolize, but it was coming through as strength and confidence for you, Gemini. You need both strength and confidence in order to be able to move through this challenge is how it's coming through. Perhaps you're also working against people not believing in you. Use that as fuel. That's how it's coming through. Using that as fuel in order to power forward is how it's feeling. But I feel like you're going to accomplish it. Whatever it is that you've been struggling with, you are going to accomplish it. With strength and confidence. This feels like a pep talk, Gemini. I feel like this reading is like wanting to give you a pep talk. 10 of Cups. Yeah. That's really beautiful. It's like this is the goal. I feel like you're because the 10 of Cups is this like emotional fulfillment, right? Emotional fulfillment, happiness, satisfaction, love, joy, all of this sort of like there's an interesting, okay, I haven't read this book, but my friend told me about this book. And generally what it's about. It's called Bittersweet by Susan Cain. She also wrote this book called Quiet, which is one of the most life-changing books that I've ever read. But anyways, so there's this book called Bittersweet where it talks about, like, it's a psychology book, where it talks about how in order for us to have a whole, complete experience of happiness, we also need to have the sadness, the pain, the hurt, the suffering. So I'm kind of getting that for you here, Gemini, where there's like it, because this 10 of Cups looks to me like you're moving towards the 10 of Cups. You're moving towards this sort of happiness, satisfaction energy, but maybe there has been struggle, or there has been pain, or there has been hardship. And it's like that is part of the experience of being whole, this sort of bitter sweetness. But I feel like you're moving into the sweetness is how it's feeling to me. Yeah, like that energy of the forge. You've been in sort of like a... okay, there's this other reading that I'm being reminded of, a Gemini reading about how the desert is going to transform you, where this sort of like energy of really tough pressure, that energy of a forge, right? Like intense heat or intense pressure or whatever it is has made you stronger in some way. And you're moving towards this sort of like sweet nectar kind of energy with the 10 of Cups. Okay. Master Maker. It's feeling very good for you, Gemini. Okay. 8 of Wands. Interesting. That's coming out under the Master Maker. You have 8 with the Strength, 2 of Swords, 10 of Cups, 8 again. So you have 8, 2, and 10. Okay. 8 of Wands talks about a lot of fast momentum. Like, I feel like whatever this is, it's going to move very quickly. I feel like there's a lot of momentum that's sort of supporting this. I'm also seeing this as being like with the Master Maker, he's holding like an Ace of Wands, right? But then it turns very quickly into the 8 of Wands. I feel like it's going to multiply, and it feels very abundant for you, Gemini. Whatever this is, it's feeling very abundant, But you have 7 of Swords at the bottom of the deck. Maybe there's a bit of self-sabotage happening here. Like, there could... Because it... Again, with that energy of the initiation... or the Guardian at the Gate is also an initiation, but it almost feels like there's like part of the challenge here that you're overcoming is your belief in whether or not you can do this. Ace of Wands is underneath that, because it feels kind of like there's something here with the self-sabotage energy, 7 of Swords, which kind of comes through with being like, it's almost coming through as being like a self-rejection, Gemini, like maybe rejecting yourself. Okay. There's an example that was coming through before I started this reading, that is coming through again, where it's like, imagine, I don't know, whatever it is for you, I'm going to use the example of like, maybe it's a relationship, or maybe it's a person, or maybe it's like a job, right? Whatever it is, there is something that you want to move towards. Could be a partner, it could be a job, whatever. Fill in the blank for you. And you see that person or job or whatever as being like the ideal, the perfect whatever, the perfect partner, the perfect job for you, the perfect home, the perfect whatever for you. It's ideal, it's perfect. It's this 10 of Cups. But there may be this energy within you about like, you see that thing as being perfect, but you don't think that that person or job or opportunity or home would want you in the same way, is kind of how it's coming through. Like, you don't see them as being like, if it's a person, let's say, it's the easiest to give an example. Like, you think that person is perfect, but you don't think that person will think that of you. So that's where this sort of like self-rejection is coming through with the 7 of Swords. It's coming through as self-rejection. So it's like, before you even try to do this thing, it's like you reject yourself. Before you even take a shot at it, it's like, oh, well, it's going to fail, so I'm not going to do it. It's not, it's not worth it. It's not, like, it's kind of coming through like that. And I feel like that might be sort of like that challenge might be something where it's like, this is a boundary, or this is a mountain, a challenge that you have met before. So it's kind of like, okay, I'm just going to use relationships as an example. There have been people in the past that you really thought would be like a really good match for you, but you didn't believe that they would like you or whatever, want to be with you in the same way, so you didn't even try. That's how it's coming through. That's the challenge. It's like, why did you not try? Because you did not believe, that it was possible, or that they would want you, or whatever. It's an energy of self-rejection. I feel like that's what you're overcoming. An energy of self-rejection or self-limitation. With the Strength card. Confidence is how it's coming through. You are moving towards it. I feel like there is this energy as well of like, okay, so this card talks about, it's time to reach out and share your gifts with other people and to collaborate. That's what this card talks about. But I feel like, so it could be something, if it's not a relationship or person or whatever, if it's like a job, for example, it's like, it's time for you to share your gifts with others and collaborate with others. Perhaps do some networking, because that card also talks about that. Okay. There's that Strength energy again, this Leo energy. This card talks about like, it's time to shine. It's time to like go after what it is that you want. It's time to go out. Look at all this fire, Gemini. It's time to like start moving, start doing the thing. You have enough momentum now, is how it's coming through. You have enough momentum. I feel like, though, okay, just being conscious of, like, if there are feelings of, like self-doubt, I feel like that might be a factor here, or, like, whatever it is. Okay, the next card is the Sky, Snow, Moon. That card talks about holding space for other people. Okay, hold on. Holding on to emotion creates stagnation in the body and in the spirit, and dullness in our lives. When we obsess about our emotions, and when we attempt to make sense of them with the mind, by replaying the situations that inspired them over and over and over again, we are thinking incorrectly, and we are thinking against ourselves. Get out of your head. Keep your feelings fluid and your mind open and clear. There is nothing to figure out. Your only task right now is to feel and allow and accept. Sorry, it wasn't about holding space for other people. That was a different snow card. But okay, so there may be something here about, like, whatever this opportunity or thing is, there may be sort of stagnant emotions here with the Seven of Swords, or stagnant thinking patterns about rejection is actually how it's coming through, or failure, or past situations where something didn't work out, or something failed, or something was, you know, maybe there was rejection in the past, and it's like it's time to let go of that. It's time to let go of that, because you're moving from this place of this sort of, like, stagnant emotion into very fast movement, Gemini. Okay, interesting. And growth. I feel like whatever it is that you've been, like, trying to accomplish or move towards, or whatever, that you have been, it feels kind of like you've been hitting a block with it in the past for whatever reason. It's like that's clearing, or it's about to. Okay, you have really positive cards. There's movement, there's growth. Strength and confidence are what's necessary for you, Gemini. Okay, I'm going to pull one more card from this deck. Nourishment while waiting. Interesting. Hawk is a power bird with big medicine. Hawk is fearless, the visionary, the messenger, and the balanced one. Hawk is your highest self. Baby Hawk in this image represents the part of you with an overwhelming desire to step into who you are fully, and fulfill your purpose. Mouse represents the nourishment Baby Hawk will need to develop into her most fulfilled self. Baby Hawk teaches us the wisdom of nourishment while waiting. This is a moment for patience. What will you do while you wait for your vision to manifest? The flower blossoms in its own time, but the gardener cultivates the seed's growth. The gardener ensures the seed's fullest development by nourishing it, pulling the weeds that threaten it, and planting the seed where it will receive the most sunlight. While you wait for the next step to be revealed, you must similarly prepare yourself for success. Baby Hawk needs to be nourished before she can achieve all her greatness as adult Hulk. Sorry, let me read that sentence again. Baby Hawk needs to be nourished before she can achieve all her greatness as adult Hawk, but this is why you must nourish yourself on every possible level. Ask yourself what skills your future self holds that you currently do not, and then start researching and practicing them. Once you grow and develop these skills, you step into your highest self. Wise old Hawk looks back on her past self and shares the medicine to not just wait in patience, but to learn while you wait. Stay persistent on your path towards growth and develop and strengthen yourself, for it is the consistent nourishment to become your greatest self that magnetizes you towards dreams unimaginable to you now. Yeah, okay. Gemini, I feel like there is this, you're in this like very interesting sort of like transition or beginning. It feels very much like a beginning where you're seeing sort of like the future version of yourself, right? Like you may be having a vision or something like that, or like whatever, you have an idea, you have a goal or whatever. You can see the potential of it. But right now where you are, you might not have those skills that you need in order to achieve that vision. And that's why the Master Maker is here, because it's something that where you have to work steadily at it. You have to like keep growing and keep improving upon where you are right now in order to get to this future vision of what it is you want to create is actually how it's coming through. Step by step, Gemini. You're not going to get there right away, but you are moving towards it. I feel like, though, what may be blocking you right now is this sort of Seven of Swords, right? It's almost like, it's like not believing that you can achieve that goal or move towards that thing. Because right now you're not ready, of course. Whatever that is, like you have to build up to the Master Maker, whatever that is for you. It's going to take time. This is going to be something that unfolds over time, is how it's coming through. And right now, before this goal or this vision becomes a reality, you're being asked to sort of nourish the aspects of yourself that need to grow in order for you to get to that place. Okay, Gemini. I'm going to leave it there. If this reading resonated with you, please like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. I would love to hear from you. Thank you so much for sharing your energy with me, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.